Have you ever looked at your passion for making incredible food and thought, could this actually be a real profitable business? Well, today we're getting into it. We are going to break down the real numbers behind the catering industry to find out how much money you can really make. You know, we all see the glamorous side of things, right? The beautiful food, the amazing events, the super happy clients. But what does that all translate to in your bank account? Let's cut right through the glamour and look at the actual numbers. And look, the honest answer is there's no single magic number. It really depends. But understanding the factors that it depends on, that's what separates a fun hobby from a seriously profitable business. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this explainer. We are giving you the concrete figures you need to see. We're going to lay out the entire financial journey from your very first gig all the way to a six-figure operation, covering revenue, profit, and the strategies you need to grow. Okay, let's dive in, starting right at square one. You're passionate, you've got amazing recipes, and you're ready to start landing some clients. So, what kind of income can you realistically expect in, say, your first year? In that first year, it's pretty typical to bring in somewhere between $2,000 and $8,000 a month in revenue. Now, that's the total cash coming in the door from weekend gigs, maybe some small corporate lunches, stuff like that. It's a fantastic start, for sure, but it's only part of the story. And this brings us to probably the most critical concept for any new business owner. There's a saying, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity. Revenue is the big, flashy number. It's all the money you collect. But profit? That's what's left after you pay for all the food, the supplies, insurance, your staff. That is the number that actually matters. So as a beginner, once all the bills are paid, your monthly take-home profit is probably going to land somewhere in this range. And let me just say, that is a really solid foundation to build on as you start to grow your client list and get your operations ironed out. So how do you make that profit number bigger, faster? Here's an awesome pro tip for you. Start smart. Instead of trying to land these huge, complicated weddings right out of the gate, focus on things like drop-off catering or corporate lunches. Why? Because they need less staff and have way lower overhead costs, which just means more of that money stays in your pocket. All right, let's move on to the growth stage. You've made it through that first year, you've got some happy, repeat clients, and word is starting to spread. This is where your business really starts to take off, and frankly, where the numbers get a lot more exciting. And yeah, what a jump it is. Once you're established, your monthly revenue can totally soar into that five-figure range. At this point, you're not just taking on more events, you're taking on bigger events, and you're pricing your services to reflect the awesome value you provide. And here's what that can look like as annual profit. Now we're talking about a solid full-time income that can comfortably support you, maybe even a small team. For so many caterers, this is the goal right here. So how do you make this leap? What's the secret? Well, it's about understanding that catering is a volume game. It's not just about doing bigger events. It's about being able to handle more events with maximum efficiency, all without letting your costs get out of control. And here's a game changer for managing that volume. Standardize your menus. Stop reinventing the wheel for every single client. When you create brilliant, customizable packages, you slash your food waste, you simplify your prep, and you basically turn your kitchen into a profit-making machine. Okay, now let's talk about the top tier, the big leagues. We're talking about the large-scale catering operations. These are the businesses with major corporate contracts, a calendar packed with high-end weddings, and a full professional staff. So what do the numbers look like at this level? The numbers here are seriously impressive. Annual revenues can easily blow past $500,000 and often push over the $1 million mark. At this point, it's not just a small business anymore, it's a full-fledged company. At this level, profit is almost always talked about as a percentage of revenue or a profit margin. A really efficient, well-run company can consistently hit a profit margin of 10 to 25%. Think about that. On $1 million in revenue, that's $100,000 to $250,000 in pure profit. So this leads us to the most important question of all, doesn't it? What's the real difference between a good catering business that just pays the bills and a great one that is wildly profitable? I'll give you a hint. It's not just about the food. The secret is one word: systems. The most successful caterers are masters of logistics. They have rock-solid, repeatable systems for literally everything, from how they generate quotes and cost out menus to scheduling staff and tracking every last bit of inventory. That's how they scale without everything falling into chaos. And a huge part of those systems is your pricing. Please don't make the number one mistake that so many caterers make, and that's only pricing for your food costs. You absolutely have to factor in every minute of labor, your gas, your insurance, your marketing, all of it. Underpricing is the fastest way to turn your dream business into a very expensive hobby. So let's kind of boil this all down into a profit formula. It really comes down to three key things, and it all starts with your niche. The type of catering you decide to specialize in is going to have a massive impact on your bottom line. And this table here breaks down the options perfectly. You've got drop-off catering, that's got high profit margins because the labor is so low. Then there's corporate events, which give you that consistent, predictable work. And of course, weddings, which bring in huge revenue per event, but their profitability can be a little more variable. Choosing the right niche for you is your first big step. And this chart, I think, just beautifully summarizes the entire journey we've been talking about. You can see that clear progression in earning potential from those first few $1,000s a month in profit to a really solid mid-career income, all the way up to those six-figure profits of a large-scale operation. The potential is absolutely there. So what's the bottom line here? No matter what stage you're at, your success is going to depend on these four things: creating efficient systems, pricing for real profit, building strong client relationships so they keep coming back, and controlling every single one of your costs. So there you have it. You've got the roadmap, you've seen the real numbers, and you know the strategies that actually work. The only question left is the one right there on your screen. What kind of business will you build?